I feel like talking a little bit about what it can feel like in my body to be a man, to be a white, straight man. I just want to start out by saying immediately I feel required to say, I understand that a woman has feelings too. I understand that gay people have feelings too. I understand, like, I immediately almost have to apologize for saying what it feels like to be me. I notice that there's a feeling that there's a given that if I have feelings, I have to apologize for them. I am so cognizant of everything everyone else is thinking. In other words, or at least my projection of what they're feeling based on the worst or most difficult shaming moments in my life. So for instance, when I said it hurts inside, I feel like I'm not allowed to speak, I can immediately picture an angry woman saying, well, we hear all your videos, you do get to speak or whatever, and that's not my point. But the bigger point is, I'm so aware of the unconscious shame feeling that I have for being me. And I was just talking to another guy just a minute ago, and I could feel that he had the same thing too. There's almost an apology just because we're men that we have any feelings. There's a lot inside of my body, and I feel like I really have to work to get it out, and I primarily have to do it alone. I have a couple friends that really care and hear me, but I find that habit of being like, I also understand that you have feelings, comes up so much that I have a really hard time getting mine out. What I feel is that I have a lot of deep sadness in my body, but I don't have a right to get to it. I'm much more aware of everyone else's anger at me. And I mean just an anger at me for being a man. There was a waitress at a restaurant that I thought was really sweet, and I then pulled up to a store, and I happened to pull up next to her car, and I saw she had a bumper sticker and it said men, and it had a thumbs down on it. I literally saw her get out of the car. She's like, hey. And then she went in, and I just saw the back of her car, and I just saw this bumper sticker that said men, thumbs down. And I pointed out to a woman that I know that was there, and she just laughed. She just laughed, and I had this part of me that was like, wouldn't it be inappropriate for it to say women thumbs down, or African Americans thumbs down, or gays thumbs down, or transgender thumbs down? Like, I know that men have dominated in the past in a lot of ways, in like the 40s and the 50s, and it was this, I hear the word patriarchal world quite a bit. I know that white men owned slaves a long time ago, and that's horrible. And I just feel like pointing out that I didn't. I didn't do any of that. And in my body, there's a deep longing to be loved and a feeling of not deserving it. Also a feeling of scared. If you go on a date, it's got to be so perfect. I remember one time telling a girl on a date that I liked her, and then feeling like that was wrong of me. Like later, if she just decided she didn't like me, that she could badmouth me, and I heard through the grapevine she did. Like, I'm just a creep because I told a girl I liked her. Like, that's the thing now I can't even do. I don't know if any other men feel any of this, but I noticed that it must be somewhat accurate because there's emotions coming up. And, again, I immediately feel like saying, I understand all these other groups were repressed, and like being in what it feels like to be them so much. But this is also the problem, is like I'm so empathetic to that I feel like because I'm a man that's a white man, I don't have a right to have the feelings that I have now. And I know a lot of guys that feel that way, that have no idea how to communicate now, have no idea what to feel, and feel very suicidal very frequently. And I'm only talking about this to not sound like I'm in the oppressed group, but I am saying that there are feelings in here too in this time, and hopefully maybe talking about this can bring them to light too. There's a lot of shame in men now based on the response to men in the past. And a lot of the men in the past that did things based on their time and where they were, those people are dead. The ones that owned slaves are dead. And a lot of the shitty men that are the public's great grandpas out there that have some horrifying secret alcoholism or story or abuse or whatever, those people are dead. And right now you have new people that are wanting to birth a new world, and are getting the shame from our moms, from the norm, from the media, from women everywhere, from Joe Biden talking. There's a way to see everyone that doesn't have to make everyone else shut up. There's a way to see everyone that doesn't have to make people who aren't in those groups bad. I'm absolutely for everyone being seen. And right now there's a movement for the people who used to be in marginalized groups to be completely seen. And there's also a movement for people who have been in dominating groups to shut up. And I can't help that I'm a man. And I'm proud to be a man. And I'm proud to do this work right here with you. But I feel like just pointing out for men out there that you're not alone in your fear of talking. I have a way I know that I talk to the world that I think hits groups more than men. It seems my audience is 70% women. And my audience is a lot of my mom. Like, in other words, I think that I was waking my mom up or trying to get her to see something, and then I just shifted it to people that have a similar energy to my mom. I remember one time so vividly sitting with my mom watching the news, and they were like, coming up, we'll tell you about a baseball fight, and it shows a bunch of men fighting in baseball. And my mom goes, men are so dumb. And I just didn't even think about it because she was my best friend, and just agreed with her and kind of forgot that I am one. And they're not. They're not dumb. They're amazing. Men are amazing also. And it's such an FU to God to disclude anyone. And you can have groups that were marginalized heard and not shut up anyone else. Like, we can hold space for whoever was not heard and hear what their points are. But that doesn't mean shut up men. That doesn't mean shut up men who have been successful. That doesn't mean shut up capitalism. That doesn't mean shut up. This pendulum nightmare isn't also fun, and there's a reason that 92% of suicides are men. They already grew up. Even though they might have dominated in one way, men weren't in the 50s feeling their feelings either. Like, they already grew up being taught that the only reward is achieving. And so they already, like, the ultimate goal to them isn't even feeling. And there's a lot of pain inside of men. And I'm used to some people feeling like I don't have any right to say that. I can almost see the voice getting on top of me being like, well, you don't know women. You don't know what the trans community went through. You don't know. I don't. I'm not them. But I'd love to be able to just directly say it also hurts to be a man. And that's allowed. And I'm so much more cognizant of what angry women would say to this than men. And I just want men to know I'm with you on that pain. I'm with you on that pain. And I'm literally watching myself leave angry people's telling me to shut up and like focus on men for a second and just be like, I'm with you on that you feel like you're a jerk if you leave the relationship. I'm with you on you could be completely consensual in a sexual relationship and be horrified that they could just try to ruin your life. I'm with you on the fact that you don't feel like you feel like you can just be slandered and no one gives a shit. I'm with you on that no one knows what it's like to feel, what it's like to be you. I just want you to know I'm with you on that. And I guess today's the day that's really starting to come up as something to look at. I know for me, I am so fucking empathetic, probably out of fear to what other people think, that it's very hard for me to get to the root of what I feel. It's so buried in the mirror of the collective shame of the world. And that's the most honest I can be right now. Like, I can't find more in that. But it feels big to say.